Hi everyone and welcome back. I'm coming to you with a cold, so I apologise for my croaky voice. I decided to do some painting and I wanted to share it with everyone. I'm actually quite happy with the way that it turned out, even though I started off with no real plan. I decided to use my Daniel Smith watercolours, and I used in Dance Throne Blue, a bit of Aussie Red Gold, and also some Undersea Green. And later on I added some Soda Light Genuine because I wanted to bring in some darker values to the painting. I wanted to keep it simple, but then it turned into something more complex. So you'll see as we go along, I just went with the flow. I was enjoying putting the colours down so much. At this point, I thought I might do a snow scene, but I got carried away with the palette knife and the spray bottle, and one thing led to another, and I just kept going. And I also used cobalt turquoise, which I really love. And that combined with the Aussie Red Gold really looks beautiful. Here I'm just spreading the paint with the water and just watching what it does, adding in some more colour as I go. And really, again, no real plan. I just love watching the paint spread in the water and dance across the page. I decided to put some sky in. I didn't at this point want it to blend in with the landscape, but again, things change as we go along, and that idea did change as I went. I'm adding some in Dance Throne Blue down the bottom because I decided that I wanted some water. I'm actually putting paintings into an exhibition, and the theme is flow, so I thought that I would add water to get that, to link that in with the theme of flow. Now at this point I was going to throw the painting away because I had gone way too far with the colours. However, I pushed on, and I thought the worst that can happen is that it ends up being cut up for scrap. And so I just kept pushing on. Now you're probably thinking that it looks like a hot mess, and that's exactly what I was thinking at the time. But as I said, I just pushed on, and I thought the worst that can happen is that it's a reject. I added the dark at the front or at the bottom because I wanted to make it look like rocks, sort of a breakwater at the front of the painting. It just gives it a little bit of interest at the front. And I used my card to add some texture to that part of the painting. And as you can see, I added some salt into the water to add some texture as well. The front of the painting I used Moon Glow as well, which is a really lovely colour because it complements the darker Soda Light Genuine. Now, to save the painting, I thought I would do some lifting with my stencils. So I thought that it would look good if I had a cityscape along the foreshore of the water, and I was really happy with the way that it turned out. I couldn't find my craft knife, so I used the kitchen knife to scrape away some paper so that it looks like the water's sparkling. It didn't work too successfully, so don't try it yourself. And I still haven't found my craft knife, so that's a job for another day. Then I decided that it would be good to add some dark areas around the stencil of the cityscape, just to bring it out a little bit more, and make it look like the lights are coming from behind it. So I went in with the colours that were already there, but a darker value. Sorry, someone's mowing their lawn, so if you can hear that in the background, they've got their whippersnipper out, so I apologise. So by making the background a little bit darker around the buildings, it actually defines them a little bit more. And like I said, it makes it look like there's light coming from behind the actual buildings themselves. And then I decided to add some white to the water to add a little bit of light and movement to it, and then I softened it off a little just to blend it in so it wasn't so harsh. Now the rocks at the front have actually dried a lot differently to what I would have liked. So I took my stencil again and started to lift off the shapes of the rocks, because I still wanted to have that breakwater at the front of the painting. I also added a moon, which adds a little bit of interest to the sky. And with the reflection on the water, there is a little circle that accidentally happened by itself, so I thought it looked like a reflection of the moon. And here I go lifting off my shapes for the rocks, and it actually turned out quite well. Again, the moon glow is a really lovely colour for that sort of texture, and a little bit of the Aussie red gold just comes through as well, which is lovely. I used a magic eraser to do the lifting, and it makes life so much easier. It does disintegrate quite quickly, but it doesn't damage the paper. So I just wanted to have a look at the painting without the tape on it, because as we know, it does look quite different with the white border. And then I noticed that the moon was actually at the front and I needed to push it back. So I added the colours of the lights over the moon to make it look like it was actually behind the lights, not in front of everything. And I also added some splatters which would represent stars, hopefully. And then I had a look at it, and I could have kept going, but I decided that that was enough for today. Thank you for watching.